Word around town is we have a new layer 1, Aptos. That there's a lot of buzz behind this layer 1 altcoin. I want to talk about it from a non-biased keyword, non-biased perspective. This layer 1, what does it have to offer? Is it going to be the next 100x altcoin in the bear run? Is it going to be the Solana killer? I'm going to dive very deep into the fundamentals of this coin, and I'm going to dissect this coin from their team to their marketing, to their actual tech, like what's behind it, what is the technology that they're using, to their community, and everything in between. I'm going to dissect it right in front of your face so that you can make your own decision, because obviously none of this is financial advice. They took a lot of the technology from Facebook's DM. So Facebook, has obviously a lot of credibility, one of the biggest social media platforms on planet Earth. They took their consensus mechanism and implemented it into this new layer 1. So it is pretty significant, but there's a lot of details in between that can mislead you if you have not been in cryptocurrency for a long time, which that I am. I am that guy, okay? Been in cryptocurrency for 7 years. I've researched thousands of projects, and I've been a part of multiple 100x altcoins with an M, okay? Multiple, more than 10. And I've made money, a lot of money in this market, and I've seen through a lot of the BS. There's people that want to control things. There's a lot of greed in this market. There's a lot of greed. So they want to control it like they own it. But to be honest with you, all currencies are relatively the same. They're all centralized. The government intervenes in all of them. They're all pretty much the same thing. If the United States dollar starts increasing in value, I'm going to tell you about it. So I'm not going to be emotional. My goal here is to make as much money as possible. I don't hold a tribalistic thought in anything, okay? And what I mean by that is I'm not going to get emotional in any investment. There could be literally a poop coin, which there is a website called Poo Coin. There could literally be a coin named Pooped that pumps in price. As long as I can make money off of it, I'm going to talk about it. So there might be coins that might be very low market cap, that are not the most popular that I talk about on this channel, because I really do think it has a strong foundation. And there might be coins that are top 10 by market cap size that I say, hey, this is probably not a good buy because the market's going down. You should sell it. I'm going to tell you every little detail in between, and I can care less who beefing with who. Okay, I'm going to leave that to the other guys. If you want to go to the drama, go on that side of the market. My goal here is to make money. It's as simple as that. I'm going to show you guys how to make money, but I want to talk about the fundamentals of this coin. So the Solana killer Aptos launches its highly anticipated mainnet. First thing that rubs me the wrong way, the Solana killer. We know Solana didn't really do too well. Actually, if you look about 10 months ago on my channel, I actually called before it happened. I predicted that Solana specifically would have issues and would break. I looked into the actual tech. It kept breaking, and I predicted that it will continue to break over and over again. It did. I predicted it 100% accurate. Solana is a centralized blockchain. So there's decentralized and there's centralized chains, okay? Some of them are way more centralized. Some of them are way more decentralized. The most decentralized chain there is in the world is Bitcoin. Bitcoin's the most decentralized by far. This is actually a really good chart to explain centralization versus decentralization. It's not that one is fundamentally flawed. It's just that there's certain businesses that rather go for centralization over decentralization. Now, I do want to note that cryptocurrency was made specifically for decentralization. But as more VCs got into this market and more suits got into this market, suits, I mean, business, right? Fintech, things like this. Then they started essentially making things called distributed ledgers, which are different from blockchains and they're more centralized, right? So as you can see here, centralization, the retention of powers and authority with respect to planning and decisions with top management is known as centralization. So this is normal to what we're currently experiencing with regular business, right? You have a CEO at the top and he kind of makes the decisions. But cryptocurrency was actually made for decentralization, which is the dissemination of authority, responsibility, and accountability to the various management levels is known as decentralization. Now, the way they're framing it is as a bad thing, but the beauty is that you're giving the powers to the community and you're allowing everyone to vote. That's essentially what decentralization is, okay? As you can see here, centralization involves a systematic and consistent reservation, okay, of authority. So they're trying to reserve authority. And then obviously they're trying to do the exact opposite with decentralization. They're trying to bring power to the people, okay? As you can see here, I want to show you one more thing. This right here says proper coordination and leadership. So look at how they're framing it. Even the article is trying to push for centralization. sharing of burden and responsibility for decentralization. I do agree that's true. And I do think that decentralization has other things like censorship resistance, right? So there's no collusion involved. A lot of times when you give all the responsibility to one person, they will make bad decisions because they're humans, right? So when you have a lot of people involved or multiple parties, usually they won't collude as much because there is probably one person strong enough to not do the wrong thing, right? So having a decentralization is not always a bad thing, right? As you can see here, multiple people have to make a decision with decentralization. So it is slower, okay? And as you can see here, it lies with the top management. Considerable control over the organization, and it's best suited for small organizations, centralization, and large organizations usually have decentralization. A couple of other things to add to this right here. It's actually very important that people understand that usually coins in crypto, I would say like 99% of them, are centralized when they first start, and they make the promise that in the future they're going to become more and more decentralized. Now, we don't really see that because it's just a new market and we haven't had enough time. Maybe there are coins that will ultimately become decentralized in the future, but right now specifically, it's normal for a project to have a lot of centralization. And again, like I've said over and over again, I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's like a horrible thing. It's kind of normal, but it's gonna have its flaws. So just understand and recognize the differences. If you're looking for a completely immutable, okay, decentralized protocol, the only one I can really say with confidence right now is Bitcoin. That's it. Not even Ethereum, none of those blockchains. Bitcoin is the only one that's truly decentralized. It's truly decentralized to the best power we could possibly think of. Now, there could be situations where they take Bitcoin down, like they send guns to all of the nodes and they try to stop people. But the whole point of Bitcoin is that it's resilient, and the fact that anyone can run the code whenever they want. Anyone, you could be a small person. You know, if they take down all the Bitcoin nodes and all the Bitcoin miners, you could technically mine Bitcoin off your laptop. Technically, not right now though, because there's huge miners that won't allow it to be profitable. But the whole point is that if they took all the huge miners down, technically somebody can run the Bitcoin code off their laptop and make it happen. So the point is, true decentralization is very, very difficult and almost impossible. And there's a lot of people out there that even argue that Bitcoin is not decentralized, which I could see why, because there is a lot of centralization in the miners. But I would say if there was one that was the most decentralized, it's probably going to be Bitcoin. So centralization basically just means that they control it. Now, they're calling us a Solana killer. To me, it's like, number one, Solana didn't do that well. And number one, Solana did not do that well. And number two, I think, or I know for a fact, Aptos is going to be centralized as well. And if you know me, I like decentralized coins way better. Now, what they're talking about is building a scalable layer 1 and a Web3 experience. Really cool website. But I want to dive into the specifics of this protocol. Let's dive into the team. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name, but he's a 3 times founder and expert, going from 0 to 1 in scaling products. He has been invited to speak at the World Economic Forum. You guys know how I feel about the World Economic Forum at Davos to discuss innovation across sectors. He combines his knowledge of building products, fundraising, developing business strategy, and scaling teams. So it does look like he has some significant experience, as you can clearly see here. He's been a part of a lot, right? So I'm not going to dive into it too much. I haven't watched any interviews with him or anything. I can't analyze him directly as a person, but it does look like he has a significant amount of experience. So I'll give it, it's pretty good right there. All right, let's talk about Avery. Okay, so he is the CTO, and he also has a significant amount of experience. Okay, so as you can clearly see, he's been a software engineer for multiple companies, including Facebook. This is pretty significant. So I want to be clear with you guys. The fundamentals, I said it, straight to everybody's face on this video. The fundamentals are pretty sound. You got some pretty big people here. He was a software engineer for Yahoo, guys, Yahoo, Facebook. This is pretty good. Their team is solid. Okay, I don't know about the other guys, but this is some credibility, and this is what you want to see in a project. Really briefly, I want to dive into the marketing of Aptos because I do think they're doing very well. You can see that they have a couple of Medium posts trying to explain the protocol. That's pretty typical. People are reading it, and there's a lot of them, and they've been doing it for a while, all the way back since February. They've been posting. That's pretty good. If we go to the Twitter, it doesn't look like they're focusing on Twitter. They only have about 30K followers, and they're not really posting too much, but it seems like there's a lot of interest behind it. But look at this. Look at the Discord. We see 146,000 members. I think this is probably from the airdrop and the test net, But wow, this is a huge feat. This is no joke. The marketing that they're doing, the limited, they're not even doing too much marketing. I could tell. Like I'm looking on different places and I don't see it that much. I mean, they're paying for advertisements on CoinMarketCap and stuff like that. But they have been able to get 146,000 members. That's no joke. That's a lot of hype. That's a lot of hype. Now, again, this is very important to understand. I do believe next cycle in the bull run, this is going to be a big player. Right now, we're in a bear market, but in the bull run, this ain't no joke. And I do think it's going to get even more serious as we move forward. So again, 146,000 members in a bear market is pretty significant. Pay attention to Aptos because it could be a big coin next cycle. If we continue forward, let's look at the actual technology. And I will make future videos if you guys want me to. Leave a comment below if you want me to. So we're looking at here their block explorer. Now, I will say it's a critique, but it's like kind of the same critique as Solana. They are not showcasing too much data. Solana had this problem. I literally made a video and I was like, yo, where's the on-chain metrics? You can't find any on-chain metrics. But people didn't know what I was talking about. So I want to show you evidence. So if we come over here to Etherscan, look at these on-chain metrics. You can see pretty much everything. The market capitalization. You could see the supply growth. You could see how many transactions. You could look at the daily block rewards, everything. Look at how many different charts and different. Look, we even have all these tokens, top ERC20 top tokens. We have ERC 721, which are NFTs. You can see all of the transactions, everything, top accounts, verify. You can shift through all of it. This is one of my biggest critiques. And being that it's centralized, you know, it kind of makes sense. They don't want people to see it for whatever reason, but it is centralized and they do not have that many validators. And I do have to look into this deeper, but it just looks centralized, guys. It looks like it's centralized and it does make sense because it's from Facebook's tech. Facebook has technology. Of course, they want it centralized. It's obvious because they want to control it and they're taking their consensus mechanism from their tech. So it just makes sense. Now, if we look at the price, couple critiques. Again, I don't like this. I don't like it. CoinMarketCap has this trending tab here. So if you go to CoinMarketCap right here and you can see the top coins, trending is Aptos. And it just doesn't make sense. Like what qualifies for trending? I want to know. If anybody could reach out to me, CoinMarketCap team, send me a message. Somebody tell me what trending is because this has been a top trending coin for a long time. And it's just been trading sideways since it started. There's really not too much price action and you can't really do technical analysis on this coin. You can't do technical analysis on this coin. It's pretty much like invalid. It's invalid because you need price history to do technical analysis. Okay. Now, if we look at this article here, you can see that they actually airdropped 20 million tokens to its early testnet users. So there's 20 million airdropped and then there's like a pretty big centralization of VCs and founders and the organization owning the coins. Guys, there's a lot of coins on the market that are waiting to be sold because they just launched and there's so many free coins on the market. They're literally waiting for the price to pump and then they're going to keep selling it, which if you look at the price action, that kind of looks like what happened. We came to a bottom here, then it pumped maybe through some type of promotion, paying influencers, I don't know. And then the price keeps going down. Every time it pumps, it just keeps going down. They're going to sell their supply on the market. It just is what it is. That's how it works. Now we look at the last part here, the tokenomics. Okay. There's a lot of people talking about it. Here's like a brief breakdown. We have the community, and I know they call it community, but it's not really the communities. You still got to buy it from them, which is 51% of the initial token distribution, which is 510 million tokens. They're locking it for 10 years, but the majority of this pot, 125 million, are unlocked at Genesis, meaning it's unlocked initially. So 125 million of these tokens are waiting to be sold. The core contributors have 19%, foundation 16%, investors 13%. This is a highly centralized blockchain. This is highly centralized when it comes to VC backers and people owning coins. I like fair launches. That's a completely different topic of discussion. There was a coin that just recently came out that's called Zen, XEN. That was technically a fair launch. It's for the people. I like fair launches, but to be honest with you, there's not a lot of fair launches. This is pretty normal. This is pretty normal. It's just that these typically work way better in the bull run. In the bull run, you might still get the price increase because there's so much buy pressure from new people coming into this market. There's a lot of buy pressure from new people coming into the market. So in the bull run, you'll get the price increase even with them dumping the tokens. But in the bear run, it's even worse. So this just launched in the bear run. it's gonna dump, guys. It's gonna dump. I am very, very confident. Now, next bull run, we might have something significant. Like this is a strong project. It might be something to buy. It could outcompete Solana. It could do these numbers. It could be amazing. But right now, it's not the time to buy, in my personal opinion. Now, if we look at the tokenomics overview, you could see pretty much the same thing, the same breakdown here. The community gets 51%. Like most of it, they're holding it, guys. They use the community funds for liquidity. So basically, you still have to buy it. And as you can see here, they have 5 million available initially to support the Aptos Foundation initiatives for the foundation category. So again, if we go back to the original one, you got 125 million on the market, okay? And then you have this, which unlocks monthly. There's monthly unlocks, right, of the core contributors. And this one has 5 million extra, so that's 130 plus this. And then you have more monthly unlocks. There's a lot of unlocks. So there's going to be a lot of tokens dumped on the market. I just want to brace everybody. But the technology, it looks like it's there. If we dive into it a little bit deeper, so they basically took Meta's mission to provide the safest, most scalable layer 1. So they took Meta, which is the coin from Facebook, and they launched their own layer 1, okay? So as you can see here, leading exchange FTX is an investor, all right? And it's already announced that it will list Aptos on Wednesday. In 2019, Meta was working on its own blockchain called Libra, later renamed to DM. Pressure from the government, regulators, and plenty of criticism from the crypto community prompted the tech giant to shelve the project, but developers saw value in its key differentiator, which is parallel execution, or a method of combining transactions to rapidly accelerate the process. If we look at the transaction path, it's actually very efficient. So as you can see here, Aptos can achieve near ideal throughput and hardware efficiency via a parallel batch optimized and modular transaction processing pipeline. Now, I know it sounds crazy, but let me just show you what it looks like. So if we actually look at the transaction path, you can see the client submits a transaction and the validator is taking it through the life cycle of the transaction. But there's other validators, as you can see, other validators that participate in certain parts of the transaction lifestyle, but they don't do it through the entire transaction lifestyle. As you can see here, if required, it fetches the batches of transactions, okay? So if required, they use these certain features, making it super efficient. And it says right here, periodically share and aggregate signatures on the ledger state. This is next level technology. It's very interesting. Also, another point here, their upgradability is pretty on point. Designed to be flexible, continually support new use cases, and keep up with technology advancements. Upgradability and configurability as first-class design principles embraces both new cases and new technology for future-proofing the Aptos infrastructure. This is also interesting right here. The Aptos blockchain encodes its configuration on-chain. Every validator can synchronize with the current state of the blockchain and automatically select the correct configuration. So you don't have to do the entire blockchain. You don't have to process the entire blockchain as a validator. You can kind of skip to the front line. I know that's going to be for my big brain people that understand this, but this is truly next generation technology, and you need to pay attention because there's probably going to be a lot of projects that copy this scalability. They're claiming to handle 130,000 transactions a second compared to 30 per second on Ethereum. They also have a language that's supposed to be way more secure than other languages called the Move programming language, which prioritizes scarcity and access control. I'm not qualified to talk about it, so I'll just take their word for it. Maybe their language is good and they coded it on this new language. Now, there is a flaw that I know for a fact that I don't need to be a developer to know this, but they're going to have to find developers that will learn a completely new language called Move. This is the reason why Ethereum has such a significant strategic advantage, because everybody already learned Solidity, their language. So for somebody to move to a completely new programming language, it's far-fetched. Not only that, but it's so far-fetched that we have projects taking liquidity away from Ethereum by making a converter. So there's literally converters where you could take Solidity programming language and convert it into their type of protocol to launch on their layer 1. Let me elaborate on this because it's really important. If they don't have a converter, if they don't have a way to give developers access to programming languages that they already know, which most of them, pretty much every single decentralized app developer is using Solidity, it's going to be an issue for them. We already have blockchains that are EVM compatible. What is EVM? This is the Ethereum virtual machine. This is basically a virtual machine made to be compatible with other blockchains so you can get interoperability. So you could get a coin launched on a different blockchain usable on their blockchain, right? So as you can see here, amongst the many important qualities that make a successful blockchain, EVM compatibility stands out as one of the most crucial for achieving user adoption and expanding the developer community. So although they have a brand new coding language called Move and it increases their security, it's going to be very, very hard for them to develop a big developer community because developers simply just don't know their coding language. As you can see here, this is one of the foundational building blocks. Ethereum virtual machine is on a foundational building block above nodes, okay? This is where all the smart contract and decentralized apps are made. So they need something serious. And if we scroll down, we already have a whole bunch of blockchains, Avalanche, Binance Smart Chain, Polygon, Harmony, Phantom. We have a whole bunch of blockchains that currently have EVM compatibility. So if they don't have a way to use the Move language with Solidity, it's going to be a massive hurdle for this blockchain. And if they don't come up with it soon, it's a no-go for me. It's definitely a no-go for me. It closed a 200 million strategic round from big players like Andreessen back in March, and 150 million Series A round led by FTX earlier this summer. The large amount of venture money it raised in a short period of time created a narrative among the Web3 circles that investors were ditching Solana for Aptos. Yeah, it's just a brand new layer one in the bear market. And it sounds cool. They got a lot of credibility. I'm happy for it. It will do well in the future. I'm sure it will do well in the future. I don't know if it'll kill Solana. I have no idea. It just looks like the new shiny object. And in today's society, everybody has shiny object syndrome. They want to go to the next best thing. That's what they're trying to capture here. But in the bear market, the market's going to go down. The market's going to go down. I want to be very clear, everybody watching my video, and this is not a negative thing, but if you are trying to make money, there is ways you can make money. I want to be that voice that can show people true financial independence in any market. If you can't make money in the bear market, then you can't ever truly be financially independent. Learn the skills now. Learn how to short the market. Learn short-term trading strategies. Learn how to develop cash flow through marketing. These things are what I preach on my channel, and I will continue to do it the entire bear market while everybody's fighting each other. I will continue to show you guys the path to true financial independence. I'm going to ignore all of them, and I'm going to show you guys how to make money. But that's pretty much it for this video. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Of course, if you like the quality of this content, hit like. If you don't, leave some constructive criticism. Subscribe for more video updates. And like I always say, if you don't get with it, you will get left behind. Thanks for watching this, guys. I love you. Peace out.